Feeling good, feeling great. Feeling great, feeling good. How are you? Welcome into Timeline T. I'm your host, D. Sam D, aka Sandisman Jr. Just a pop-in stream, just an update stream. Not back yet, still technically on vacay. But I just really wanted to tap in real quick and get into Justin Herbert got a bag. What does this mean for Patrick Mahomes? What does this mean for your man's Joe Burrow? There's some other QBs too that are keeping an eye on things. Trevor Lawrence, I see you. And speaking of quarterback contracts, Saquon. Did he get scared after having that NFL running back only Zoom? We'll talk about it. Because $900K, you did all that just for allegedly $2 million up front and $900K in incentives? Whose man's is that? Jaylen Brown did indeed get that Supermax. $304 million for a man who cannot dribble with his left hand. Yes, everyone's making the joke, but it's too easy of a joke. It's too easy. Absolutely positively too easy. It's been a nice break, but I'm glad I could tap right back in and get right back into the shits. We will be having some full-fledged content. Some of it'll be recorded, some of it'll be a live stream a la Timeline T, but maybe not exactly in this format how you see it. We'll be doing some, as you see down there in the ticker, some NFL division previews as we gear up. We got through the dead period of, July, which is basically the dead period in sports, these last 3/4 weeks, dead period. So we're on the back half of that, getting into August, which means NFL training camps, which means, the NBA, still no Dame trade, still no Beard trade. We don't know when it's going to happen, but eventually it'll happen. And when it does happen, I will pull up again and do a live stream. But now we can kind of look forward to NFL. And I'm looking forward to doing that and providing y'all content as we head into what I think is going to be a very interesting 2023 NFL season. But let's not waste any more of your time. Salute to the replay gang. Just some real quick notes as, let's see. Do I still remember how to do this? Let me turn down the bed. Okay, there we go. Still know how to do that, thankfully. All right, so a couple of quick notes. I had a YouTube short about Kylian Mbappe. There's an update to that story. Kylian Mbappe has turned down Al Hilal's monstrous contract offer after a delegation from the Saudi club traveled to Paris on Wednesday, according to the French media. So if you're not up to speed, Kylian Mbappe, who took the World Cup by storm this past year, $776 million just for 1 year. Turned it down. Mans wants to go to Real Madrid. Hala Madrid. Mans wants to go to Real. He does not want to be with PSG anymore. PSG has kind of tricked it off here. They had Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi and didn't come through in Champions League. I don't know how you do that. We have 3 strikers like that. I just don't understand. You have arguably the best player ever in Messi. You have clearly the best young player in the league in Mbappe, and Neymar, who's kind of that wild card where some days he could be the best in the world and some days he could be mid. A lot of times for PSG mid, but more times than not, he's still that dude, and they couldn't get it done in Champions League. So turns down $776 million, which means PSG will not get the $332 million transfer fee, which would have made this deal in totality $1.1 billion. So that deal is now off the books. The Saudis now have struck out with Messi and Mbappe, but they got Ronaldo, they got Jordan Henderson. So they're poaching, but they're not poaching all like they did with the PGA Tour in golf. So we'll keep an eye on that. In unfortunate news, Bomani Jones will not have his contract renewed by the 4-letter network. That's very unfortunate. If you know of Bomani's work, podcaster, has had multiple television shows as a lead guy and as a co-host. And unfortunately, apparently his time has come to an end with the 4-letter network. The industry is really, really in the bad space right now. Companies are looking to trim contracts wherever they can. So if they feel the juice is not worth the squeeze, they will go ahead and just bid you adieu. And that's apparently what the 4-letter network is doing with Bomani. He's not going to be unemployed for long. He can pick and choose wherever he wants to go. He could go down there to Miami and reunite with Le Batard if he wants. I don't see that, but the potential is there. Quite honestly, he could kind of do his own Meadowlark Media. And I think that would be way more lit because of what he represents and the acumen that he brings. But, Bomani Jones, apparently a free agent. So, hey, FanDuel. If Shannon Sharp, if your man's Unc doesn't want to take that 120 that McAfee left behind because he's too enamored with, potentially being able to link up with Friday Smith, I mean, why not? If you're Bomani, go over there to FanDuel and go get some of that 120 that McAfee left behind. But, obviously he's been, he's good. He's going to be wherever he wants to be, and the bag will be sure to follow. So 2 quick things, but the main thing is Jay Herbert, 5 years, $262.5 million contract extension for your man's Justin Herbert. So after Lamar got his deal, and it was just enough above Jalen Hurts, we all sat here and said, all right, well, next up is Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, and even further down the line, Trevor Lawrence. Which one of them is going to jump the gun? Now, Trevor Lawrence can't jump the gun yet, but he was starting to certainly pay attention to see what everyone else is getting. And it was really just a race between Herbert and Burrow as to who would be next up. I think this is a great move for Joe Burrow. You wait everybody out so you see what the highest number is so you can walk in and get the highest number after them. Now, unfortunately, he plays for the Cincinnati Bengals, who are owned by the Brown family, and the Brown family is notoriously cheap. So if he can get them to cough up the type of money that is going to be needed to beat this deal, because every quarterback is beating the next person's deal. Jalen Hurts had the deal. Lamar went and beat that. Now we got Justin Herbert beating Lamar's deal. So it's safe to assume that when Joe Burrow gets his bag, he's going to beat the Justin Herbert numbers. But this is a great deal for Justin Herbert. And here's the thing I'm really trying to figure out. We know he has the arm talent. Arm talent is there. He's also walked into a great offense with Mike Williams, with Keenan Allen, with Austin Eckler. You can throw in Josh Palmer if you want. But that big three of Williams and Allen with Eckler, that's a great situation. Is Justin Herbert really him like that? Not is he talented. We know he's talented. Not does he have a good arm. He has a phenomenal arm. We know that. But Justin Herbert, if we would have put him with the Ravens offense over the last few years, would we be viewing Justin Herbert in the same light that most experts, analysts, scouts, executives, and pundits especially do? And that's the thing we've been talking about a lot on this channel, is the way that Lamar Jackson is viewed is very skewed because of the lack of talent he's been given. In this year, with the new OC, with the drafting of Zay Flowers, with the signing of OBJ, with, the return to health of Bateman and Mark Andrews, you're assuming, okay, and J.K. Dobbins as well, like, okay, all right, take the top off that defense. New OC Monken is coming in. He's going to allow Lamar to, change plays at the line of scrimmage, check downs, audibles, slide pass pro. He's allowed to do all of that now. So now it's basically Lamar unleashed. But what if we would have put Jay Herbert in that situation where his best receivers at times was Sammy Watkins? Would we be holding Jay Herbert, Justin Herbert in the same light as we are now? And if we were to give Lamar, Keenan Allen, and Mike Williams, and Austin Eckler, I mean, God damn. I mean, how many MVPs in a row? How many? But just saying. So Jay Herbo gets the bag. Now we get to look at all in a row. Jalen Hurts, 5 years, 255. Lamar comes right behind him, pause, and beats that by $5 million. 5 years, 260. Now Justin Herbert makes sure to pulls right up after Lamar and beats him only by 2.5. Now the difference between Lamar and Justin is a lot of the guaranteed money. Now I know I'd love to break down the funny money, and while some of the numbers are coming in on Justin Herbert, Spot Track does have the contract up. I'm going to reference it. I still want to see how some of the incentives, there is funny money in this Justin Herbert contract. Let's not get it twisted. There is some funny money here. It's 262.5. It's about 218, 219, I believe, in guarantees. So that's about, 40 plus M's in funny money. Okay. So, but the main thing is highest average paid NFL players. Now, again, this average paid, that's the total, including the funny money. It's not the guaranteed money. And yes, if you beat all your incentives, you can make that money. But the fact of the matter is that this league that generates $25 billion in revenue is still not paying their players fully guaranteed money. I literally just talked about Kylian Mbappe for 1 year getting $750 million for 1 year. And we have Justin Herbert, who's playing in a sport that generates $25 billion a year. And now we have someone that is going to be able to pull up and get $52.5 million a year. When Mbappe potentially just turned down $770-something million for 1 year. Anywho, that's another battle for another day. But understand that Justin Herbert with $52.5 million, Lamar Jackson 52. This is all about the funny money. The funny money inflates these averages, and it gets you to number one on this list. Now, Aaron Rodgers truly would have been number one on this list because of the guaranteed money he had when he was in Green Bay. But because he got traded to the Jets, he had to rework that deal to make the trade work. So now he's got some funny money back into this contract. We got Derpy in the house. What's good, Derpy? Thank you for pulling up. I appreciate it. I'm just popping in, man. Just had to take a, I had a few weeks off, so I had to take a break from the stream, but we're pulling up. We're not fully back yet where it's going to be everyday streams, but we're going to be popping back up every now and then more frequently as we get closer to the NFL season starting and then, back with the NBA. But yeah, when we're looking at these numbers, man, always understand that this is inflated because of the funny money. Okay? So when you look at Mahomes here, and we have to get to Mahomes. Mahomes signed that contract where it's, $500 million for 10 years. And say, well, that's $50 million. He should be up here. Well, that's why he's not. That's why he's down here, because of the funny money. The funny money and the fact that he signed away 10 years. And there's no real opt-out. That's the thing about the Mahomes contract is that, all right, I'm going to give y'all 10 years, but I want to be able to get out of this early in case I keep killing. No such language in the Patrick Mahomes contract. So, let's slide over to this one. To keep talking about Mahomes, Mahomes now drops to 8th. We just had that list. Mahomes still has 9 years left on his contract. He signed a 10-year deal 3 years ago. 9 years left. Now, why is that saying? Because, 10 minus 3 is 7. Well, remember, during the pandemic, he went and got a 2-year bump during the pandemic. Okay? So that kind of pushed the money back. So, yeah, he's still got another 9 years left. Make it make sense? Mahomes and money, it's looking a little funny. It's looking a little shaky to like. I like the doc on Netflix. Cool shit. It's a cool concept. I wish, Manning and Omaha Productions and all that would be focusing on getting running backs more money instead of continuing to highlight quarterbacks, which creates the divide and the wage gap even more. You know, let's get a Netflix series called Running Back. Okay, Peyton, how about you do that? How about you go get Edgerrin James, you know, go get Marshall Faulk, go get the guys that helped you win some Super Bowls, you know, go get Dominic Rhodes, go bring those guys up and have them narrate, have them host Running Backs. And let's try to get to the money. Let's highlight how much work these guys have to put in and why their value has been diminished on purpose by the league that you hold so high and dear. But anyway, hit the chat one time for Derpy. Money doesn't matter, low winning does, but you have fans that think everyone deserves to get paid. I mean, in every other sport, everyone does get paid. Every other sport is guaranteed money. What makes the NFL feel like they shouldn't have to pay their employees fully guaranteed money? Take away the whole thing of player owner, employer, employee. Players are employees. They're working at a place that tells them to their face, I'm going to sign you to a $50 million per year contract, but in actuality, only 24 of that is guaranteed. And if you overperform like no other employee has ever done before, then you'll see the rest of that money. Where in the working world do you get away with that? In a unionized working world, do you get away with that? Now, if you're a contractor, freelance, permalance, you know, things are different. The structure could be different. Where in a collective bargaining world are you not paid the money that you signed for? You get a job and the job says, I'm going to pay you $20 an hour. And then your check comes and it says, I only got paid $12 an hour. You go to the employer and say, hey, what's good, right? You're beating down the boss man's door like, yo, what's good? That's the NFL. I signed for $20 an hour. I only get paid $12 an hour. What happened? But anyway, Mahomes signed a $450 million deal with $63 million fully guaranteed. That's the problem with Mahomes. He's shortchanged, or his agent, and he has a big-time agent. Isn't it Lee Steinberg? Let's see. Who's his agent? Yeah, Lee Steinberg. Lee Steinberg is his agent. That man went out there and signed a 10-year contract and only got $63 million fully guaranteed. That's 14%. 14%. Jay Herbert is out here with 260 M's, of which 218.19 is guaranteed. And Mahomes, who is clearly the best quarterback in the league, so much so that they got a whole damn Netflix series revolved around him, signs a 10-year deal for $450 million. Everyone goes crazy. Oh my God, that's so much money. It's like Shohei Ohtani. No. Shohei Ohtani is going to get 600 plus, and that's a bargain. And it's baseball, so it's guaranteed. Mahomes is out here with a 10-year, $450 million contract, of which only 63 is fully guaranteed, which is only 14%. And you're the best at what you do? At the most important position in your sport? And again, this was after the first MVP, after the first Super Bowl win, after the first Super Bowl MVP. And that's the contract that he signed? That's the contract that his big-time agent negotiated for him? Something where his client only gets guaranteed 14% of your money? Couldn't be me. It could not be me. Derpy, you're not wrong, but it's about the team, man. And you know what it is. Winning matters more, and players have become so greedy for money instead of winning. I don't know how you can become greedy when you're only getting 14% of the money you signed for. That's not greed. That's stupidity. Derpy, you and I would never sign a contract that says, hey, we're going to offer you this money, but you're really only guaranteed 14% of it. That's not even like commission. Like that is affiliate marketing money. Like that's not a salary. 14% of what I signed for? If I sign for $100,000, if I sign for a 6-figure salary at $100,000 a year and only get 14%, that's $14,000. It's a pretty big gap. That's not greed. Mahomes deserve it, but that's overpay. I'll admit it, but he's still going to be NFL. It's fine. What's overpaying? It's 10 years. What's the overpay? Mahomes, you can't. His own owner said he's underpaid. So while I feel you that you feel that way, Derpy, Mahomes' own owner, the Chiefs owner, came out and said, I can't pay him his worth. He'll forever be underpaid for the value he brings to this franchise. His owner said that. So, I mean, we can't say he's overpaid when the man that's cutting the checks says, no, he's underpaid. And there's no way I could actually pay him his worth. Like, we can't do that. The man signs his checks and tells them, yeah, dogs, you underpaid. Imagine that. $450 million deal. And the dude that negotiated that deal and signs the checks for it tells you you're underpaid. Absurd. That's how absurd Patrick Mahomes is. That's how insane his agent is. Like, people are trying to give him props for a team-friendly deal, and we'll get to Saquon and his team-friendly deal in a minute. But with everyone cashing out on top of Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, who's not as good as Patrick Mahomes. We can go down this list. Who's better than Patrick Mahomes that's making more money than him? Deshaun Watson is not better than him. Kyler Murray is not better than him. Russell Wilson is not better than him. You could debate if you want if Aaron Rodgers is better than him. Right now, he is not better than him. Jalen Hurts, not better than him. Lamar Jackson, as much as I love Lamar and I've become very polarizing because of my thoughts on Lamar Jackson is not better than Patrick Mahomes. And Justin Herbert, damn sure, is not better than Patrick Mahomes. So where is the greed here? I don't see it. There's no greed here. In my opinion. Josh Allen. Like, Josh Allen got a deal after Mahomes, and he still doesn't have the highest average pay more than Mahomes. But he does have more guaranteed money than Mahomes. He made sure to get more guaranteed money, but the higher average, he wasn't able to get that off. Derpy. Dude, man, they are making more than the average person. But see, and that's where there's a disconnect between fans and athletes. I don't look at it that way because we could trickle this down to average people. UPS was out. I don't know if they're still on strike, but they were on strike last week, right? There was dudes that made 6 figures that were on the picket line for UPS, and they said, I'm not striking because I want more money or that I'm out here looking bad and the company screwed me over. I'm out here because they're screwing over the lower employees, the part-time employees, the seasonal employees. That's what we're talking about here. The quarterbacks are making so much money. The only way to fix this is that if the quarterbacks made us think about it and take the mantle of fully guaranteed, like every other sport should be the norm, then that will trickle down to the running backs. But that's not going to happen because the QBs are so entrenched with just this list in terms of highest average, which is full of incentive and bonuses and roster bonuses and option bonuses and incentives that are down the road. This is why they'll never get fully guaranteed money. Because the wage gap disparity is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So whether you're a quarterback that's making 50 plus mil or you're a UPS full-time pilot that makes six figures, it's up to them to set the tone. If the people at the top, if the employees that are eating high on the hog don't care, then of course the ones on the bottom are going to continue to get disparaged. Of course. So to me, I don't ever fall to me that's the trap. They in terms of the team executives, the owners, and also low key, a lot of people in the media, they want to look at athletes as this perch that's way above the average person when they're employees. Why aren't we holding the owners, the high-level execs accountable? If they can pay Patrick Mahomes $450 million over 10 years and tell that man he's underpaid, how much money do you think the Hunt family is making? Why aren't we looking at them and saying that's greed? You know what you have in Patrick Mahomes. He's a phenomenal once-in-a-lifetime talent, and you got him. And you're only going to pay this man $450 million? You're trying to be shrewd in negotiating with a once-in-a-lifetime talent that has proven to be as advertised. But that's not greed. But a player warning, fair market value, that's greed. Because he's an employee and not an owner. Because he's an employee and not an employer. That's a real warped thinking that exists a lot in this society, in my opinion. There's no way that I can be here and look at Mahomes for being how good he is and understand that he is underpaid, but I'm going to get mad at athletes wanting to get the most money. They have it for a very, their window to get this money is not infinite. It's a very finite window to get this money. Just like the bulk of us regular folk are trying to get a bag until we hit retiring age, right? We're trying to get to a bag so we could put stuff away for retirement. It's the same thought process. For every Patrick Mahomes, there's a bunch of 20 QBs that are scratching and clawing to get to a practice squad and barely scratch and make six figures. There's a real wage ideology that's problematic when it comes to fans and athletes. I've been pushing it back against this for as long as I've been able to crack a mic, which is like 15 years. Like I've been trying to stop because, I worked in the union. I was a shop steward. I know what it is. I knew what owners would really say about my constituents when they weren't in the room and what they really thought of them. And based with all this Daniel Snyder stuff, it's very much akin to like that in the NFL. Players are disposable. Why shouldn't they try to maximize their bread? I don't know, man. Hey, the money system is broke because of athletes wanting money. If that's where you think the problems are, if that's where you think the inflation is, okay, cool. if that's where you're putting it, I disagree. I'll be BS. If in your world I'm BS, that's cool. That's cool. Have a blast with that. But unfortunately, no matter what you and I say, this is going to continue. There's still going to be owners making billions and soon to be trillions. There's still going to be players making hundreds of thousands into the millions. And that wage gap is still going to be there. And there's still going to be a weird sentiment of I'm going to look down on the players, but look up to the owners. But yeah, that's the problem in this country. So yeah. So when it comes to this Justin Herbert contract, let's see if Justin Herbert's greedy. Let's see. Let's see if a guy, Justin Herbert, is greedy. Justin Herbert if we break down the deal, 5 years, $262 million, only $16 million in a signing bonus, guaranteed at signing $133 million, total guaranteed $193 million. Now that includes all the money in terms of option bonuses. You see here, 10 mil, 19 mil, 19 mil. Then we have option bonus, 50.6 mil. Option bonus, 45 mil. So they have done some creative staggering to get this contract where it needs to be to make the numbers look good. And where do the numbers look good for Justin Herbert? It's in the total guarantees. It is always about the guaranteed money. Because again, if you go to Patrick Mahomes' contract, and yes, I had the wherewithal to pull it up, $450 million, only 141's guaranteed. So now Justin Herbert is making less money, right? Less money. But he's making more fully guaranteed money than Patrick Mahomes. Justin Herbert is not a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. Yet and still, he's going to get more money guaranteed. So if he goes out there and tears his ACL, tears both ACLs, can't play ever again, he's still going to walk away with more money than Patrick Mahomes. And that's where the problem is. But, greed. Let's get into the Spanos money with the Chargers. We're going to talk about some greed. But anyway. So, in terms of NFL cash, every projected number one running back is going to make 168 straight cash homie $1 million. Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson alone, $180 million. And Saquon got them running backs on a Zoom. Saquon got all them running backs on a Zoom to air it out, and then went over there and flipped and signed for a deal that was $2 million extra more dollars via a signing bonus. They basically enhanced the franchise tag with this Saquon deal. And they added $900 more thousand in potential incentives. So $2 more million via a signing bonus and $900,000 more via incentives. Now the franchise tag would have put him at 10.8, I believe $10.8 million, right? So now with the max, he can make $11 million. The 10.8 would have been guaranteed. This money right here, this new money, is not guaranteed. It's all incentive based. As you see here, he could have made 10.1, no signing bonus, with zero incentives. I saw 10.8. Ari, our guy Ari here, is saying 10.1. Tomato. Zero incentives. Now he's added $900,000 in incentives, and he's gotten $2 million via a signing bonus. What was Saquon thinking? What is the point, or what was, because we're talking past tense now because he wants to show up. He wants to show up, he wants to play. What was the point of all the posturing, of all the negotiating in the media, of all the public proclamations, going on podcasts and airing out your grievances, and all you got out of it is $900K in funny money? I don't know what's happening. I have no idea what's happening, but Saquon had them running backs on a Zoom to air out their grievances, to talk about how the position's been devalued, to try to figure out a game plan as a collective, as a group. And within days of that RB-only Zoom, he spins the block and goes back to the G-men and gets $900K in funny money? And if you want to break down to what these incentives are, here are the incentives. He has to rush for 1,300 yards. He rushed for 1,312 last year. He has to score 11 rushing touchdowns. He had 10 last year. He has to catch 65 passes. He caught 57 last year. The Giants have to make the playoffs. They have a 37% chance. And again, the big thing about the Giants last year that was fool's gold is that they had the easiest schedule in the league last year. The whole NFC East had the easiest schedule in the league. That will not be the case for the Giants this year. And with a roster that, in my opinion, hasn't been greatly upgraded, he's going to put incentives on whether they make the playoffs. This is a really, really weird situation. Saquon Barkley, for all the fluff, for all the fanfare, all the muster, all the Zooms, to come back, get your little $2 million signing bonus, and he still can go on the tag again next year. It's not like this wiped out the franchise tag. He could be tagged again next year. What was Saquon thinking? What's the thought process? What was he that? Did he hear something on that RB Zoom? Was there something he heard? Was there a feeling he got on the running back only Zoom that made him say, oh shit, I'ma just go on to work, man. Y'all on some bullshit over here. Y'all don't got a plan. Y'all can't get it together. I'ma just go ahead and run back to the Maras, to the Youngs, and figure this out. It has to be that, right? It has to be that he heard something on that Zoom with all the other running backs. Allegedly, McCaffrey was up in there. Derrick Henry was up in there. It was a RB1 Zoom. And the immediate fallout from that Zoom is you running back to your team and taking, in my opinion, a short. Something went bad on that running back Zoom. Magic Man in the house. I know he's geeked. His man scored a goal. Turned the timeline upside down when Messi scored that free kick. All right. Like I said, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. Your man's Jason Tatum. 5 years, $338 million extension. So he now has his summer max eligible next year. Why are we talking about a summer max for next year? Well, because Jaylen Brown got a super max just a few days ago. What was it? 300 and what? Let's see. Oh, yeah, I know I got the numbers. $303 million. 5 years, 303. They're online saying 304 because people are rounding up. 5 years, $304 million. That averages out to 60, round up 61 million a year. And you see that number there? You see the most important number here? Guaranteed at signing. At signing. All of it. All of it. Every single penny is guaranteed. That's your man. But what up, though? It's been a bit. Yeah. I had to take a break. I had been going strong doing streams every day from like February. So I was like, yo, I got to take a break, make sure everything is good with the career and everything like that. Make sure we ain't tricking off the gig and things like that. So we're good. We're not all the way back. I wanted to pop in because of this Justin Herbert contract. I wanted to pop in to make sure I get my thoughts out there and talk with y'all because 5 years, $262.5 million for Jay Herbo. Crazy bag. And Joe Burrow's next. What's that bag going to look like? Is he going to try to jump out there and go 270? Can he go 270? And what's the guarantees? Because you know me, I only care about the guarantees. All this number here is funny money. You understand? Because the Jay Herbo deal, you're getting 193 guarantee out of that 262. Okay? So how much did Lamar get? How much was Lamar's guarantees? It's been a couple of months. I forgot. Let's see. Damn, I forgot how slow this website is. Yes, I'm looking for Lamar Jackson. 185. Okay, so Jay Herbo gets more inflated number and more guarantee. Lamar's guarantee was 185. Justin Herbert is 193. So he beat him all the way around except for signing bonus. But if you look at the structure of the contract, it's basically the same thing. Justin Herbert. Big money talk. Boogie Down in the house. What's good, Boogie Down? Can't believe Herbert got that much guarantee. Hey, man, look, it's next man up. You know how it is. Puff, puff, pass. Next man up. That's it. That's it. Well, in total guarantees, it's only 10. It's only 10 total guarantee. This is the contract. I know there's been some different numbers online. That's why I go to Spot Track. Spot Track gonna give you the real number. They actually have the contracts and they put all the provisions in and all the numbers in. So I always go by their number. Whatever their number is, I rarely see them have to change a number. Look it down. I can see Burrow getting over 230 mil guaranteed at this point. We know it's racial. Made sure to pay the white boys way more than Lamar Hurts. I mean, I think with Lamar there was something to that. Not less so with Jalen Hurts. I think when it comes to total guarantees, I don't know if Burrow's going to get 230 because 230 is Deshaun Watson territory. So if you give him 230 mil, that means the funny money is going to have to bring that up to like 300. And I don't know if, look, the Bengals are a notoriously cheap organization. I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't have a lot of faith in the Cincinnati Bengals. Like they're going to pay Joe Burrow. I would be stunned if they try to be cheap, which with the greatest quarterback in their franchise's history. He's already better than Boomer Esiason, in my opinion, even though Boomer won an MVP. Like I feel like Joe Burrow, if Herbert, if this is the template, which it seems to be, since no quarterback wants to follow Kirk Cousins and Deshaun Watson, this is the mold. This is the template. The last 4 or 5 deals have all been copy and pasted of the same framework, right? From the Kyler Murray contract to the Jalen Hurts to the Lamar and now to the Justin Herbert. It's all copy and paste with the same template, right? So if the Joe Burrow is going to be another copy and paste, you're probably looking at closer to 200 guaranteed. And I would say in the 270s, maybe mid 270s. So 5 years, maybe 275. But now you're looking at guarantees about 200. Like, because it's only been minor jumps. Where's that number? Where's that breakdown? Where is it? Yeah, it's been minor jumps. Because we had the Deshaun Watson, which was fully guaranteed. Right? Then we had the Kyler Murray copy and paste. The Russell Wilson extension, that one has some funny money in it. Aaron Rodgers had the similar setup to Deshaun Watson where it was a fully guaranteed, but it was an extension. But then he had to spin the block on that with now being a Jet. But from Kyler Murray to Jalen Hurts, copy and paste. Jalen Hurts to Lamar Jackson, copy and paste. And now Lamar Jackson to Justin Herbert, copy and paste. So I would assume with Joe Burrow next up and then Trevor Lawrence after him, the next 2 contracts are probably going to be copy and paste. I'll say Trevor Lawrence might get, if it goes according to the copy and paste, if Burrow's out here with 200 if Burrow hits 200, total guaranteed, if you're Trevor Lawrence, you got to go for 205, 202, 205. That's the thing. It's just going to keep going up. While running back money keeps going down, quarterback money just keeps going up. Let's see where we at here. So I just wanted to pull up and do a quick stream. I wasn't going to take up too much of your time today. I just wanted to pop in because I was like, man, the contract, y'all know how we do when it comes to these contracts. So Jay Herbert's out here with 252 over 5 years. You know, when you're looking at the last 3 years, like I said, copy paste with Joe Burrow up next. The fact of the matter is that Patrick Mahomes, there was a lot of reporting saying that he wants a new deal before the season starts. What does this mean for him? And does that mean you rip up the 10-year contract? How do you restructure a deal that was shitty to begin with? The Patrick Mahomes deal, again, which only has 14% guaranteed money. 14% fully guaranteed money. How do you restructure a deal that was shitty to begin with? So I'm very curious how that plays out. Joe Burrow is probably going to get 200 guaranteed or right up to it. You know, if Justin Herbert's getting 193, you have to assume Burrow's going to get 200 to 205. And then if that's the case, then if you're Trevor Lawrence, what are you looking for? 205 to 210 and on and on and on. It just keeps going. But if Mahomes can swoop down and set the market, this is where he can make amends. He can change the market and go in the same lane as Kirk Cousins and Deshaun Watson before him. But it doesn't look like he'll do that. He's buying into that team rhetoric. He's buying into that. I'm just a guy. I'm just a QB. I got enough money. Cool, bro. But you have whether you want to admit it or not, just like Charles Barkley said, you know, I'm not a role model, but he was. Guess what, Patrick? You are a shop steward for QBs who are going to come after you, whether you like it or not. You set the bar. You set the market. You're the best at the position in the sport. You made that very clear in the Netflix doc. Now, make that same type of sense, talk that same type of talk, keep that same type of energy, be 10 toes down when you go in and try to get a new deal from the Chiefs. Don't tell me you're him on the field. That's cool. That's solidified. That's a given at this point. Be him in the boardroom. Be him at the negotiating table. Because 20, 30 years from now, what you do today will impact those QBs 20, 30 years from now, whether you want to admit it or not. This sport just continues to keep generating billion upon billions of dollars. Daniel Snyder bought in for $800K. He just cashed out for $6 billion. That was just in 2 decades. Run the ROI on that. Now tell me what $500 million in 2023, what's the number going to be in 2043? You're going to be alive and see billion-dollar football players. If their union actually gives a damn about them. And if the players actually stand up to the owners. You can't be the only professional sport that generates the most revenue and yet your workforce doesn't have guaranteed money. I will leave y'all on that note. I just wanted to pop in and talk about that Justin Herbert thing, and then we got to the Saquon thing a little bit. A little sprinkle of Jaylen Brown Supermax for a one-handed basketball player. Amazing world that we live in. As y'all see down there on the ticker, we're gonna have some NFL division previews coming up here on the channel. So if you want to tap into that, make sure you subscribe. It has been a good break. I will tell you that. I feel refreshed. I feel recharged. Still not back yet. Timeline T will be back as we get closer to the NFL season. But we'll be doing a lot of standalone content, bringing in some people to talk about the NFL. I got some content about tech. If you're into tech, stay here, stay tapped in. And I know I get into that sports media shit like no other. So I appreciate y'all for pulling up. Shout out to the people on the replay who are going to catch this. And I'll catch y'all in the very near future. Make sure you turn on that bell so when I go live, you get that notification, all right? I'll see y'all very soon. Timeline T, I'm the Sam D.